Hello everyone, I'm Katya, and today I'm going to show you how to create a scrolling effect for color tabs without code, just using animations. You can see this section on the Wix Studio website, which was built in collaboration with Phantom. Here, we have a hover interaction effect. As soon as you move the mouse over the tab, you can see the color of that tab with the code name. We have 3 color palettes here that change on scroll. In this video, I will only refer to the scroll, so let's start. In building the layout, first, let's bring a new section. My section is already open. We'll change its values in the advanced settings. We'll divide it into 6 rows, each one being 100 VH. First, we will insert the first container. We will also divide it into 3 rows of 25 VH, 50 VH, and 25 VH. So that in the end, we achieve 100 viewport height and it can occupy the entire screen height. In the first row of 25% viewport height, we will place the container with the top text. We will turn the container into 25 VH. We'll make it sticky with padding of 75 viewport height from the bottom. So we have 3 rows. We'll divide our container into 5 columns, placing 5 cards in each column. And now we will start placing our cards. To save time, I created one card, gave it a temporary color, and duplicated it. After we finished with the cards, we move on to the last container, giving it a height of 25 VH. And we will make it sticky with offset of 75 viewport height. Great! So to save us some time, I brought the text to the lower container, gave colors to our cards, and added a button. I recommend you name all the elements so you stay organized and don't get lost. So let me explain what else was added for us. If you notice, the second and third color palettes come in from the bottom and the frame of the cards is always in the same place. So how are we going to do this? To create a frame for the cards, we place a brown container behind them. We'll place the container in the grid of all the cards and give it padding -1 so it can stick out a bit. Remember that the big container has a gap of 1 pixel, which creates a frame effect. So now we just need to create a color scrolling effect from the bottom. How are we going to do that? We'll add another container. I called it small box. I've already added it. And I'll place it inside the bottom container. It will be connected to the bottom container. I will give it -25 padding, which is actually the thickness of my container of the frame. So essentially, every time the color palette goes up, the second and third palettes will come in from below, and in this way, we'll create a scrolling effect from within the frame. After we placed all the cards, the animation stage begins. We'll start with the middle and most important card. It is also more complex in its construction because it has several animations, which include shrinking and color change. So let's go to Animation and Effects. Click Scroll, Shrink, and start with the settings. So the maximum scale for us is 400%. I needed 300. Even 300 wasn't enough to make it big enough. So what I did, I simply placed this enlargement container and the shrinking one into another container and gave it an additional 290%. That's exactly the size I needed for the entire container to spread across the whole screen. If you notice, in the preview, you see the tabs in the wrong order. Don't worry, we'll handle that. Another thing that happens, the color change from dark brown to lighter brown. We will put this container inside the expansion container. We'll change its name, and this will be our final color. We'll give it a fade animation. The animation of the light brown color will start at 0% opacity. Once the tab reaches its place, it will fully turn to light brown. So in summary, we have three containers here in the middle container. The first container is responsible for scaling. The second container, additional scaling, and the third container is color change. So now I'm going back to the problem we had with the cards that were in the wrong order. In the CSS class, we actually need to change the position of the top tab to a z-index, for example 100, and I also changed the z-index of the right tabs so that they appear in the correct order and are beneath the middle tab. After we finished with the first tab, we move on to the side tabs that are supposed to open like a side fan. We'll click on the scroll, select Move, choose from which direction. There will be an entrance. We'll calculate the distance in view width and not in pixels so that the animation works correctly at all breakpoints. We want the animation to start a bit before the central tab settles in the center, so we'll start it at 24 to 50. We'll actually set the same parameters for everyone, except the distance, and the direction from where the animation starts. So what happens in our container before we move to the second panel? We need to fade out the top text and the bottom text. So we are going to our main container and applying a fade animation to it. It should start right when the tabs show up in the middle. The same applies to the bottom container, which should begin with no opacity and start to fade in about halfway during the animation. Once the tabs are centered, the bottom text will show. And another animation will be for the brown container. Yes, here. It will appear exactly when the cards are in place. So after the first container is ready, we will save ourselves work and duplicate it and place it in the row before last of the section. We will give the container a unique name, for example, palette 2. We'll remove all the animations from it, make a transparent frame, and change colors to palettes. We'll duplicate it and give it a name, palette 3 for example, we'll change colors, make the second palette sticky, make the container sticky as well. Additionally, we'll delete the top and bottom containers that were in the first palette. And this is the final result. I hope I helped you and we'll meet in the next video.